guys. Today we'll be looking at the pathology module, how to set it up before you start using it um, to um, to assign maybe tests like laboratory pathology tests for your patient. So for you to be able to set it up, there are some specific um, settings that you need to do, uh, which is being required that the the lab technician should be able to input this information on the system so that he can use it in the future. Basically, what you need to do is if you are on the dashboard, then you need to head down to the setup, and then from the setup you click on the pathology. So when you click on pathology, you find here the pathology category and units and pathology parameters. So what you need to do, you need to add the different pathology categories. Like for example, the various type of tests that you do, the various categories of tests that you do, like hematology, clinical chemistry, microbiology, serology, and parasitology, and more. So once you do that, the way to do it is just by clicking on this and then you enter the name. It is very necessary to do this before you go over to start um, adding tests to patient, because if these things don't if they are not available, you will not be able to assign tests to a patient. Then the next thing you want to put in is the unit. So you put the various type of units that you support in the pathology department. So you register them here because you'll be using them um, while you'll be entering the results from the various pathology tests that you come up with. So you need to include it here just by clicking on this add unit, and then you register it and click on save. And then the next is the pathology parameters. So these are the parameter list that we have here, and you have to fill it. So to fill it in, then you need to add the parameter name, you get the reference, the unit, and the description. This is really going to help you. It's going to help you when you are entering the parameter, the pathology test. These parameters comes up, and you need to select what parameter you're using to be able to come up with um, uh, like your expectation. So it will all show up for each of the tests that you'll be assigning to a user or to a patient. So that's it. For you to be able to enter this pathology parameter, you just need to click here and you enter the name, and then you select the range, or you enter the range from and to range. Alongside, you select the unit, and then you add a description for that pathology parameter. Then you click on save, and then it will be saved on this list. And once you do that, then you'll be set enough to be able to add pathology tests on the platform. And for you to be able to add pathology tests, you need to you need to enter the pathology test by clicking on the pathology test, and then you can enter as many as possible pathology tests that your hospital supports. And for you to be able to do that, you need to click on Add Pathology Test to the system. And when you are adding the pathology test, you need to enter the test name, a short name for the pathology test, and the test type. Then you select the category. So let's assume that you want to add serology, right? This is the category. And under serology, um, you might want to enter a subcategory for serology, and that serology could be something that um, that might yeah, it could be something that you might want to enter, because there could be several tests for serology. So there could be maybe HB, FBS, and HCV or whatsoever. So you're going to enter each So you could enter MP, for example, the method that you're going to use, and then the number of days that is required, and then the kind of the charge category, whether you're going to charge this under what. Remember, we already discussed about how you can add charges to the system. So you can do that, then you select the charge name. So you can select the charge name, and then once you select the charge name, the tax that was applied to that charge name will actually show up here. Then the standard charge and the amount will show up here. Then you could select now the parameters. Remember, we just looked at parameters. Enter the parameters, which will come alongside with the reference, range, and the unit. So you could add as many parameters here as possible. So that's it. That is it on how to add pathology tests to the platform. Once that is done, you click on save, then that will be it. So at this point, when you are adding a pathology test to a patient, all you just need is to select the test, and all the other information will come along. So um, that is just the way to go to add as many as possible pathology tests. Now, there is a situation where probably serology could have many um, values which you need to enter. In that case, you need to register each of the tests under serology as an entity, and it needs to come with its own price. So if you do serology at 20,000 francs, for example, then there are, let's say, for example, there are 7 tests under serology that you need to do at a cost of 20,000 francs. Then you need to split that up into 20,000 divided by the 7 different tests under serology, and register each of the tests as like you create a different charge for each of the tests, and you put it in the system. When you do that, then you can now add the test one by one. So under serology, if you're doing serology test for a patient, you're going to select um, each of the tests that you entered in the platform. So we could have more session on that, so I can explain more details. If you maybe you lost somewhere, you could just maybe ask a question in the comment section, and then I will answer that, or I could have yet another private session with you to explain how you can input those values on the system. Thank you so much. This video was a bit longer. Have a nice day.